In the Elon Musk mission, we identified over 20 major moats that protect Tesla from the competition. Of course, we want some competition to succeed in order to achieve the broader mission of the complete switch to renewables. But as shareholders, we also want Tesla to be the leader in revenue and margins. And among the many moats that stands above them all those moats and more moats that we even discovered after the book was finished, there's one moat that stands above them all, and that is Elon Musk. This is Randy Kirk. If you like this content, please hit like or wait till the end of this and hit like at the end because you want to make sure that you like this content. And then, of course, subscribe, notify, join Patreon. I'm starting to put up some unique content on Patreon. Okay. You won't find many in the business press today that will argue with the idea that the biggest and best companies right now are led by their founders. Apple's founder made a great pick for his successor, and Tim has done a great job of keeping Apple on track. But you'll notice there hasn't been any of the really great breakthroughs, the constant breakthroughs that you saw under the days of Jobs. Well, so along comes Elon Musk. And he consistently hits it out of the park. And somebody in the comments the other day said, has Elon ever failed? Well, he would say he's failed a ton, failed over and over again. How about 3 rockets that blew up before he finally got the 4th rocket into orbit? That would be failing and failing again. How about the Model 3, where he over-engineered the production line? And I'm sure Elon would give you lists and lists and lists of his failures. So every human and every enterprise fails, but then what? Well, persistence is part of it. Elon would be the first to say this. He definitely has quotes around the subject of persistence, but it's so big a part of what I believe, so important to my concept of how to run businesses and how to be successful in life, that in my book, When Friday Isn't Payday, at the very beginning of the book, I have this quote from Calvin Coolidge. If you haven't ever heard this quote before, you might want to jot it down, or you might want to look it up on the internet and make a copy and put it up on your wall. If you're hoping to be super successful in life and in business, I believe this is important stuff to understand. Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is filled with educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan "Press on" has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race. Now, how much better of a saying could you have? Maybe you should have somebody, paint that or put it up on your wall. Anyway, I think Elon Musk is an extremely persistent individual, but you can have persistence all day, but be moving in the wrong direction, the completely wrong direction. My son is famous for saying that he commonly goes, and his dad is the same way, 80 miles an hour on the freeway in the wrong direction. So you can be persistent and keep on going in that wrong direction for miles and miles and miles before you recognize you're off track. So you really need something else. You really need something which many CEOs, particularly those who are not founders, lack, and that is humility. Okay, we'll get back to humility in a minute, because in order to understand humility, we have to understand ego. So Elon Musk has probably the biggest, maybe the biggest, I think undoubtedly the biggest, and probably the strongest ego of anybody I've ever paid attention to, and maybe of anybody in history. Elon Musk, he has a huge ego. Now, but let's be careful on what an ego is. What an ego. What an ego. An ego. What is an ego? Look that one up. Okay. Your self-perception, your ego, your self-perception will absolutely allow you to shoot for Mars or keep you from advancing beyond minimum wage. Who you think you are is who you probably will turn out to be. I don't know about you. When I wake up in the morning, I do not think that I can start and run a car company. I don't think I can start and run a rocket company. I don't think I can start and run a leading medical device company. It would never occur to me. My ego is strong enough to believe I could set up and run a manufacturing company, even though I had no experience or education in manufacturing and no degrees related to. Now, that's a lot of ego. But compared to Elon, nah, not close. Okay. But ego is a really good thing. And it's very important to have your ego aligned. Sure, you can think you're all that and be very, very wrong. So a strong ego is that alignment between what you believe and what is actually true. Or you have tons of capability and you can really do amazing things in life, but your ego is so small that you're kept from doing it. Your self-perception is so poor that you would never try these things. Or on the other side of the coin, do you have this massive ego that thinks that you could, in fact, run a car company, but you're far from capable of doing that? So you don't want to have misalignment. You want it to be aligned. But there you go. That's another reason why Elon is so amazing. But ego strength is really, really tricky to control. We can suspect that Elon has a lot of glad handlers and people who stroke him, a lot of folks like that around him. That happens when you're as successful as he is, especially when you're also as rich as he is. You get all kinds of hangers on and folks that just want to be around you, and hopefully maybe you'll give them some money or give them a good job or whatever it is. And so he has specifically stated that he seeks out those at the highest levels that will tell him when he's wrong and then stick to their guns. This is so critical. The bigger the ego, the more you need those kind of people around you. And he really works on making that happen. In fact, he goes even further. He is on Twitter where he's listening to who? Regular consumers, people that have bought his products, people that have bought his stock, people that are fanboys, and then people that are Tesla Q, people that think he's a fraudster, people that think that he doesn't know what he's doing, people that don't even think he's an engineer. And he listens to those people as well. He's getting this negative feedback loop. He talks about it all the time. He wants the negative feedback loop, which helps his ego not get bigger. It helps his ego remain strong. It allows his ego to be aligned, be coincidental with facts, with the truth. Okay, this is what we're talking about. And I think that this massive moat of Elon Musk listening to consumers and listening to naysayers and listening to stockholders at the level that he does is the biggest moat I have ever seen a leader possess in any company or in any government situation, ever. Can you give me an example? Hit me up in the comments below. Who else do you know that has a fraction of the size of the companies that he runs, a fraction of the number of people that he has reporting to him, in government or business, who listens to the absolute bottom of his consumers? That's where he's aiming for, those consumers, his employees. It's clear that he listens to his employees, his naysayers. Tell me somebody else. I'd like to know in the comments below. One other person. All right. So now then, look around you at the leaders that were of companies long gone, like Xerox. Well, Xerox still exists, but companies like Xerox, Blockbuster, Sears, Kmart, Kodak, I could go down the list, who absolutely believed that they knew exactly what they were doing and that they didn't need to listen to the naysayers. They didn't need to listen to the business headlines. They didn't need to listen to what was happening with their competition in terms of destroying their companies by disrupting them. And what happened? They were blocking out those headlines because in their head, they said, I know what I need to know to keep this thing alive, to keep going and going in this same direction, going out further and further into the desert is what it really boiled down to. And what do we have now? We have GM, VW, Toyota. I could go down a much longer list of legacy car companies that also believe they're cool, they're good. They don't need to listen. They don't, no, oh no, we got it. Hey, just take the cars you have and change them out and, turn them into electric cars and use the same lines, use the same factories. It'll be good. It'll all be good. Oh yeah, keep the dealer network. That's great. That's working out. Oh yeah, I know, traditional automotive margins are, 10 or 12%. We'll be fine with that. I could go on, couldn't I? Oh, vertical integration. What's that? No, we don't need vertical integration. We've been doing fine all these years just buying parts off the shelf. Yeah, they're not listening. They're not paying attention. They are not listening to the headlines. They're not listening to the naysayers, and they believe that they have it all. They've got it figured out. All right. I'm sorry. I'm knocking these guys, but it's just true. They don't have the humility to see that the future in their industry is being molded by Elon and Tesla. But let's keep in mind, Elon's human. And it's certainly possible that he will at some point stop listening, stop being open. He will be convinced by his own success. He will be convinced by all the hangers on and the people that are stroking him and telling him how great he is. He is not infallible, but we can only hope and pray that he stays on course with regard to this superpower. That's basically what it is. It's a superpower. He's been granted in life. He's been given this gift of having this massive ego and the talent to go with it. And then the humility. I know it sounds crazy. Most people say, Elon Musk, humility, how can you even say that in the same sentence? But you can see how important it is, how critical it is. All the rest without the humility, it just doesn't work. Well, I created this video to provide some clarity on intangibles that are totally overlooked by the media. They're totally overlooked by the folks that are covering Elon Musk. They're totally overlooked by everybody, basically, that I've talked to, which is why I wrote the book, The Elon Musk Method, because as a business owner, as somebody who's owned bunches and bunches of businesses and has failed and succeeded in business, I could see Elon had all these characteristics, these leadership skills, these hiring and firing skills, these ways that he dealt with his people, the ways that he used first principles, which is a brand new idea to me. When it was first mentioned, it took me at least 2 years just to figure out what he meant by first principles. All of these things were so important to how to run a business. I wrote the Elon Musk Method in order to help people that are in business, are thinking they want to go into business, to become better at what they do, to watch what Elon does and copy it as best they can. That's why I wrote the book. That's why I did this video. I hope it's been useful to you. Pass it along to those who own businesses or run businesses. But you know what? Almost everything in the Elon Musk Method would also be true for anybody that's running their household. Setting a mission statement is great for people even running their household. Being able to think in terms of first principles is good for people that are sitting in a clerk's desk or doing customer service calls. All of these things will help you in life. That's why I wrote the book. That's why I did the video. Hit like if this was at all useful to you. Buy the book. That'll prove to me that you got something out of what I just did. And then try Patreon. I'm going to be putting more stuff like this up on Patreon. And it's only $5 a month. I think you'll get $5 a month worth of value out of it. And so this is Randy Kirk. And as usual, I have really, really enjoyed talking to you today.